Hello. What am I supposed to say? You didn't tell
You
me.
welcome them.
Welcome to our basement.
Yeah. Another episode of Couple Conversations, huh? We already got comments here. Nick's saying
here
yo.
early.
There you go. You kind of tricked me. Thought it was someone else. And he says shout out underfunded, which is who I thought it was because I saw the yo.
What good friends you have.
But yeah, here we are in episode 6. Couple Conversations. Last time was 5. So that makes this one 6.
You said last time was 6, I thought. I don't pay attention.
Yep. So yeah, hectic night tonight. We
Well, it's been snow days galore.
mhm.
And apparently you should be proactive and have like groceries for those things. And we weren't. And tonight we were chaotically. Mike got off work. Unburied the car. Mike dug a hole for us to get out of the driveway.
Yep.
We got groceries. Got home. Got everyone to bed.
Yeah.
In like an hour.
Yeah, we waited way too long to go grocery shopping, and it's been a wicked snowstorm for the last like 2 days. So our car was buried, but we made it out to the grocery store.
Exciting life we live on a Friday night.
But yeah, we didn't get home till like 7 something, maybe close to 7:30 or somewhere around there. So we were running around getting the kids dinner. And
I think our kids might actually still be awake. So.
They're definitely awake still. Definitely.
Are they?
We just put them to bed like 15 minutes ago.
True.
So you might see them running down the steps right there.
We should like fill that in or something.
That
would creep me out if I was sitting down here and people just started popping up out of there.
Yeah.
Anyways.
We have a podcast to do. So enough with the dilly-dally. I guess last week we kind of talked about what has happened between our last ones. Has anything happened?
The kids had snow days last week and this week, so it's just been like a lot. And in our personal life, I don't think anything out of the ordinary really that was like super exciting. We haven't got to go out on another date anytime soon.
No, we're doing frugal February.
Yeah, this is terrible, and it was my idea. My friend had talked about that they were doing it, and I was like, oh, that would be so responsible. I should do that. And then I said we should do that on the same day that I wanted to go get my nails done, and that was a terrible part on my part too, because then that means I wasn't able to. And we're building these built-ins in our living room, and they cost like $1 billion. And I decided to paint the living room today with the rest of the paint, and it's only halfway done, and it's only the beginning of February, so Nick does it? That doesn't surprise me, old man Richardson. I always call you Richardson. I hope you know that.
You partake in the frugalness?
Some people I know go extreme with they don't even buy groceries. They have to use up everything in their pantry and freezers.
Which we already did.
Yeah.
Unintentionally.
Because Mike loves grocery shopping. I don't like it because I'm the one that's put everything away.
Yeah, but I got to get it all out of the car.
Oh.
Just way worse. Try lugging a bunch of groceries in through like 18 inches of snow.
Okay, you heard it here first. We're switching. We're reversing this next time. I'll bring in the groceries.
I'm okay with that.
Actually, I take those words back because you'll put everything away all wrong. Like what you do with laundry. The girls will put their laundry and they'll be like, Mommy, this isn't mine. This is the baby's. And I'm like,
I don't do that bad. I don't put onesies in with our 4 and 7-year-old, okay?
Okay.
But our 4 and 7-year-old wear similar size clothing now, so I mix it up all the time.
Yeah. They're always like, Daddy. And roll their eyes. Anyways. Yeah. So we're doing frugal February just because it's financially smart for us.
Yeah. Well, the cost of living has gone up. My pay has not. So time to get frugal. But yeah. We've been snowed Had quite a few snows, which is nice
Mike's
for
living
me.
his best life. He loves snow days.
Yeah.
Well, he just loves snowstorms.
Mm-hmm.
And
We started. Did we start the 90 days through the gospel thingy?
yeah, we did.
In
I was saying
between?
our friend said to us about that too. It's the 90 days through the gospel.
But did we start that after last episode? I think so, right?
Because it's like on day 18 now. So it was like mid-January, but it was like right before that. But we didn't get a chance to share. And it's really cool, especially if you are like interested in reading about the Bible. It gives like a cool like little like description of it in the beginning.
If you
we just help
use
break it down,
the YouVersion Bible app,
which is like the #1 Bible app like that's out there when you search for it. So
yeah, and it's free.
anyways,
It's free, so fits frugal February.
What else?
But no, it's a cool little devotional plan. It's supposed to take you through the Gospels, the New Testament Gospels in 90 days. And the first day, there's a really cool YouTube series actually that breaks down different books of the Bible. I think a coworker of mine, actually, Ryan, mentioned it like when it first came out, I feel like.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, not like this plan, but the YouTube videos. Because they're like 6 years old. So they weren't like made for this plan. They were just made.
Yeah, they're really
but
neat.
the videos are really good. They do a really good job of breaking down the Bible in like understandable, relatable
present
ways,
day
like language and they just are done really good. They use animation and like it's a really well put together video. But we started that, been trucking through that. I mean, it's a chapter a day so far. We're like almost done with Matthew, like halfway through.
Yeah, it's been really good.
It's been good.
I've struggled to find a TV show. Story of my life. It'd be really helpful if I knew someone who like recommended like shows and movies and like video games and preferably I don't know. I'm not a video game person, but like I don't know anybody to like I don't know recommend anything that's good. There's a couple podcasts out there, but they're not really that good. What is that? Oh, it's your guitar.
Yeah, I accidentally hit it stretching. Definitely wasn't trying to show off my
I actually asked him about shows, but like we have I like dumb, pointless TV if I'm going to watch TV. I'm not a TV person, which is ironic because Showboy's here. Showboy 1 and Showboy 2 out there.
Me and Nick are 1A and 1A. I was going to say 1A and 1B, but that still is one is above the other. We're the same.
That's true. You are equal. You are one.
We are one.
I did start with the only reason I watched this show is because it had Hilary Duff in it, that How I Met Your Father. I never even saw the original, but it had Hilary Duff in it, and I was like, Lizzie McGuire, obviously I'm going to watch that. Which, speaking of TV, real quick, did you know Paramount Plus has like all the old Nickelodeon shows from like the 90s and stuff like that?
Yes.
Zoe 101 is on there. I mean, that's a little past your generation there. Old man Courtney over here.
Yeah. But I started watching something on Paramount Plus today.
What was it?
It's called Star Trek Prodigy.
Oh, lame.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
My dad used to watch Star Trek.
It's a cartoon. Probably aimed for middle school kids, but I like
it. Like everything you watch.
Yeah,
actually, that's
much.
Not true.
You did start watching something that I thought probably would be a good show.
And Mike will have to tell you the people that are in it. We know this about me. I don't know anyone's name. Actually, it had people that I knew from like TV shows growing up, so that's why I was okay with watching it. But it's called Dollface, and who's the main girl?
Kat Dennings.
Which I was talking about her today. I like her personality. I think she's really funny, but her voice is kind of annoying, which I feel very rude about saying that about someone.
Truth hurts sometimes.
But it's just like kind of like high pitched and squeaky, but she's really funny.
Yeah. You'd know Kat Dennings from Broke Girls.
2 Broke Girls.
Yeah.
And
Thor. She was most recently in WandaVision. But yeah, the show, I think I would actually probably hate the show, but it's like weird enough that I probably would actually like it, if that makes sense.
It
It's like not my type of show, but I probably would like it because it's super weird.
Have you seen Scream Queens?
No.
That
but
one is really dumb, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. And so did my brother, who's like 38. And then it has Brenda Song in it. Hey, Britt.
What's up, Britt?
And it had Shay Mitchell. Is that her name from Pretty Little Liars?
I don't know. I don't watch that.
I don't know. It was funny. It was weird. And I was into it. So
yeah. I don't know. I might actually
Mike
try to
would
watch
just-
it because the parts that I came up and saw were pretty out there.
yeah, Mike would come upstairs and be like, "What are you watching?" And then he'd go back downstairs and be like, "You're still watching this?"
Well, she started watching Tom and Pam
I don't want to talk about it. Don't say that.
without realizing what it was actually about, which is hilarious.
I was homeschooled. Do we need to bring this to everyone's forefront?
But yeah. Anyways, that's been what's been going on. That didn't come out very well. That's what's been going on here. I wanted to see that. I'm assuming you're talking about the Tom and Pam.
Oh no, I
or
learned
Dollface. You have to specify. But yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on the last couple weeks. Let's get into the topic here. That was probably really loud because it was right in front of the microphone. But all right, okay. See, she just says yes. I gave you two options.
Nice.
And you say yes.
You say no.
All right. So the topic today is positive growth. So the card says, what are ways that you have grown and changed in the last year? And what areas do you see positive changes in me? And then there is a verse here at the bottom that says, grow in the grace and knowledge of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. To him be glory both now and forever. And that's 2 Peter 3:18. So I'll let you go first because I talk way too much.
Yeah.
Last night.
Oh.
So.
On your podcast then?
Yeah.
So you need to rest your vocal strength.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Welcome to the Bekah Courtney show.
One at a time. What ways have you grown and changed in the last year?
We were talking about this because it's been longer than a year.
Thanks for clearing that up.
That it's been like, I don't know, since if we take it back to the beginning of a big growth like period in our marriage and relationship in general. So I don't think we've ever really experienced anything that more or like so in depth like we did that time. I'm trying to find the words to say it. So why don't you explain what happened though first? Because I think that's a good background of the growth that we've gotten to at this exact point in our marriage and just like our relationship and who we are today.
Like what happened with me?
Yeah, because I think that like plays a huge part into I don't know, just like how like I said, it hasn't like in the past, we've been together for almost 14 years in April. And I don't think we've ever been through anything that was like challenging or like that experienced real depth and growth besides like having kids, like obviously that
just, a giant life-changing thing.
It is a giant life change,
times.
but it wasn't as like, I feel like it wasn't as intense as like what I've gone through in this past year myself personally. Yeah, it was a life change, but it was kind of one of those things where you just like thrown in, you're like, you just go with the flow kind of thing. This is with the first one and the second one at least. So roll. Is this delayed? Or is my neck really just that?
It's not delayed.
No.
Okay, so
November, I think it was.
In 2020?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, actually probably might have been a little before that. But anyways, around October, November of 2020, I went through some stuff, and it was hard. And now no, I'm just kidding.
I knew you were gonna do that.
No, I'm trying to think of the best way to give the most details without having this story take a half hour.
Yeah, this is a long story if he doesn't.
Okay. So I was feeling some like general pain here in my lower back rib area. And it almost felt kind of like a cramp you get when you're running or whatever after you drink a bunch of water or something.
I was going to say, how do you know what a cramp feels like after you got done running?
Wow.
2 times down.
Oh my gosh. So glad I'm medicated. But no, it lingered around for like a week or two. And one night I was laying in bed and I was just like kind of half joking to myself, but also I guess not half joking to myself. But I was laying there and I was like, well, I have no idea what this pain is. What if it's something that's going to kill me? Like, at least, today was a good day with the kids or whatever. So I'll go out on top, I guess. And then, like, that sent me into a very weird, anxiety-filled state in that moment. In combination with some actual physical stuff that was happening in my body. But basically I had like a combination of a panic attack and a spasm of my diaphragm, which sounds really weird. But we'll get into that next. But I've never had a panic attack in my life, so I didn't really know what was going on, but like my heart started fluttering and it felt like it was skipping beats, and I got like real hot and sweaty and like was obviously panicking because I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like, am I having a heart attack? Am I actually like going to die right now? I didn't, obviously, because I'm here. But it lasted for, I don't know, probably like 20-30 minutes or so, and then another 20 or 30 minutes to calm myself down. But I had never experienced anything like that, and it freaked me out. And I'm not like a super unhealthy person, but I'm also not like a super healthy person. I fall probably somewhere in the middle, like most people. Like my diet's not the greatest, but it's also not the worst. I'm not morbidly obese, but I am overweight. I don't exercise. I probably should. Anyways, so after that night, it kind of like I thought I had always been okay with, like I thought I had accepted my mortality and realized that obviously I'm not going to live forever, because I would always talk about like someday I'm going to die and it's going to be okay, whatever. But this experience, not knowing what it was yet, made me realize like, oh, I am in my mid 30s, which isn't that old. Well, I'm not even in my mid 30s yet. I'm technically 34. So, but like, I have two friends who in their late 30s actually did have heart attacks. They're fine. They nothing terrible happened. But like, I'm almost to that age where that could actually be a real tangible possibility. So it sent me in this spiral of like, do I have like heart issues? Am I like, is there something I need to go get checked out? Like, I haven't been to the doctor in probably like 15 years. Like, I have a wife and 3 kids, about to have 3 kids. Like, I don't want to die, even though like I'm a Christian. I know where I'm going to go when I die, and I'm excited to like spend eternity in heaven, worshiping Jesus with the hosts of angels and like everyone else. But like, I also really enjoy my life here, which this is a whole other separate story that we could talk about, like the duality of being a person of faith but not wanting to leave your earthly life behind. But when you get down to it, like, I love my life. I love my family. I would hate to not to get to see my kids grow up, and I hate imagining Bekah and the girls like having to live life without me. So that sent me down a whole other spiral of depression and fear and anxiety. But I couldn't get into a doctor anywhere because COVID was, raring up, and no one was accepting new patients. So I ended up going to a chiropractor, which I've always poo-pooed. Like, her side of the family is super hippie, holistic, natural stuff, and like some of them are a little bit too like really weird with it.
Okay, we at a home
Some
birth,
of them,
we've entered
no, I know,
the
no,
weirdness.
but not like some of them are kind of weird.
We are weird.
So I've always like been like, whatever. So, but that was the only place I could get in. Plus, like, I figured this pain in my lower back could just be like a lower back pain, so maybe getting adjusted could help. So I go there, and then I end up like telling this whole story to the chiropractor. And she's like, oh, well, let me check where your stomach is, which, your stomach should be like right here in this general area. And your insides, they can all move around, because they're not like set in place really. So she checks, and it turns out my stomach was like riding way up under my ribs here into my diaphragm. And when that happens, it can irritate your diaphragm, cause it to like go into spasms, and your diaphragm is connected to your heart muscles. So sometimes when your diaphragm freaks out too much, it can pull on your heart, and when that happens, people feel like they're having a heart attack and like feel like they're dying, which makes sense because if something was pulling on your heart, that would probably not feel great. So that's what happened that night in bed. And that ended up, long story short, that ended up explaining a lot of feelings I've been feeling physically in my body for probably like 6 months to a year prior to going. Like, I've always had discomfort right here and right here, and I just thought it was because I was chubby and have bad posture, which probably plays a big part in all that stuff. But it turns out like my back pain back here, I had a couple ribs that were kind of not in place fully. So like, anyways, long story short, everything that happened was completely explainable. But to me, I was still freaked out. And like, I mean, when I say freaked out, I was like legitimately depressed. Like, every other day I would just like see the girls and I just start crying because I'm like, what if I die and I'll never get to see them again or something?
Yeah, you couldn't even watch like
well,
movies.
We also, but that movie was Soul, and it was about death and all that stuff. So yeah, probably not the best movie to watch with the girls, but they wanted to watch it, and I couldn't even get all the way through it because of, I mean,
you were
the
in
whole thing is about death, and I'm just like, it's too soon.
It's comforting that we can laugh about that now, because I feel like it was so long. Like, it was the longest period of our life, because Mike is a very laid back person. He goes with the flow. Like, he does joke around. He's like, we're all gonna die someday, get over it, like, type of person. Like, and that's just like who he is. And like, it was the scariest thing I've ever seen in my entire life, because I've never seen him like that, or like been that like close to someone that has gone through something like that. And unfortunately, it was like as soon as I got pregnant with our third daughter, that's when all his stuff happened. So like the whole time, going through your own pregnancy hormones and then seeing him, it was just like, in COVID too, like the pandemic was still going on. It was literally like the most dark time of our life, I feel like, when that all happened with him. But
like, I was legitimately depressed. Like,
not like,
not like sad. Like, I was like depression.
Yeah, like not like
suicide. Nothing that brought me joy before made me happy. Like, I couldn't even come down here and play video games or something. Like, just like playing music's a huge part of my life. I literally couldn't do anything to bring me joy, and I was just constantly like melancholy and like just in my own head thinking these thoughts and like crying a lot. And like it was rough, but no, like I was never like suicidal. The whole thing, I was
You're just
afraid of dying, so like why would I do
I just feel like that's something you should probably add to it.
No, but and that's the first time I had ever felt those feelings before, so that also was then playing even more into the depression. Like holy crap, this is like I don't feel like me, what's going on? And that just spiraled out of control, and it lasted probably close to an entire year, I would say.
Yeah, right before we had her, you went and went to the doctor.
But like lots of trips to the chiropractor, you know, getting my nutrition right. Like I even had like not like EKGs, but like some tests done with my heartbeat and stuff, and like everything that I ended up getting into like a physician. Finally, we found a family doctor, which is nice because I, like I said, haven't been to the doctor in like 15 years, and like told him the whole story, and he was just like, no dude, like all your vitals and stuff are really good, like you're fine.
Yeah, it was definitely comforting.
But yeah,
you made some drastic life changes too. I feel like during that time, like not even like your walk with God got even closer too, because I mean like that's where you clung to, you know, just trying to like put yourself back in place of what God says about you and where and what promises he has for your life and stuff. And then it goes deeper like into like your diet. You did change that. Mike's been strictly gluten-free for like almost a year next month.
Yeah. Well, my stomach, this was an ongoing thing for probably 6 or 7 months, but my stomach would continue to like move up, and
because you had to train it after being up for so many
months
and years.
You know, a lot of that stuff has to do with like food intolerance or food allergies, because if your stomach gets irritated by something, it'll restrict itself, and then that will cause it to move up as it like constricts. So we tried first just like changing my diet to be marginally healthier and like take vitamins and supplements and stuff, but that wasn't working fully. It did work a lot, made me feel a lot better, but the chiropractor was like, a lot of people have intolerance to gluten, like maybe try that. And I did, and felt just physically like cleaner and had more energy and stuff. But you know, slowly after a while, the stuff down here stopped, you know, being as frequent. So I've just stuck with it, and yeah, still gluten-free to this day, almost a year.
Yeah, it definitely helped. And
I enjoy the gluten-free life, except it's ungodly expensive. Like a loaf of freaking bread's like $6. So dumb.
Yeah.
But anyways,
that's Mike's rant about that.
Yeah. What was the point of telling all
so
that?
Was I feel like that was a was that you?
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the girls. That was like like I said, that was like the start of just that huge life change for us. So like then I think we had so he probably got like I would say much better by like May, and we had the baby in July.
So I did like make all those lifestyle changes, and they helped a lot, but I still couldn't quite get out of the mental funk. So I did end up getting on a small anxiety medication that I take daily.
Yeah.
So just wanted to include that in there.
That's true. Yeah, that played a big part too in helping you feel better. Yeah.
It's a good combination of the two different approaches that people normally take to health. Like I did as much as I could with the natural and holistic way, and it really did help a lot, like a lot. But I just couldn't quite get over the hump. So then I used medicine, and the cool thing about our doctor is he has like a checklist of things that he like wants to try before getting the medication. But like when I came to him, I was told him everything I've done. He's like, well, you've done everything that I would have had you try to do before this. But anyways.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. So then I felt like when you got to that point of peace, I guess, and like you just were past that, I feel like my mind and like, 'cause I was trying to hold it together, you know, like with the fear and the worry about like what's going on with you, because I've never seen that with you before. And like, you know, like it's your spouse, it's your significant other. You want to make sure they're better, like their needs, you know, above what you're going through. And you're just staring.
Sorry, I'm listening.
I know, but it just creeped me out because I looked at there. You're just like. Anyways, so then once you got to that place, I feel like my body just was like, and panic mode sets in. Like after we had the baby, it was like, I don't know, probably September, that like I just like felt like I took on all those feelings. I told Mike, I was like, is your depression contagious? Because I think you gave it to me like his same feelings of like I just turned 30 right after I had her, like all these different things about my life that I felt like, I don't know, like nothing was bringing me joy. Like literally the same exact things he was going through, it like transferred to me, ironically. And I've never been that person. I'm a very happy-go-lucky pretty much person and I don't talk about my feelings. That's just
Very
gross.
true.
I hate feelings. I have to put my foot up. Hey guys, how's it going? So it's just like, it was one of those things that it was just, I didn't know what the heck was wrong with me, where I was going, just a very, very dark place. And like, I feel like I'm still going through some of those at sometimes in my life. I go through waves of it, and I didn't want to admit it before that it was like postpartum depression, but I think it was, and like anxiety of that, because I've never experienced that before. So that's why I was like, I don't have that. I've never had that with my other children. Why would I have that now? But I think it like opened the door with whatever Mike went through too. That was kind of like, I don't know, just like my holding on to how I was feeling when he was going through that, just like kind of released through. And the past couple months, it's February now. December, I feel like I went through it again in different ways, like I said. But ultimately, I've taken what I've learned from those different times and have like made the changes for myself. Like my changes were different than what Mike needed to change for his life, I feel like, because I wasn't like experiencing like physical pain or anything like that, or like worry about death. For me, it was just like I felt like I lost my purpose in life and like joy, and like felt like a failure and all those different things. It was just like a different type of sense of that too. So I feel like how I grew and changed in that is definitely also like reshifting my thinking as far as like, again, what God says about me, the promises God has for me and stuff like that, and talking about the life he's given me and like what's in front of me every single day, and like living for that. And it's just challenged me every single day, and like has changed me so much drastically in the way that I do things and the way I'm looking at things. And just like, I mean, moving forward with things too in my life. So it's been a rough year and a half, but we've made it through. And I do feel like so much growth and change has taken place for the both of us.
So really. What are ways that you've grown and changed? Back to the question.
Sorry.
I asked 20 minutes ago. I mean, I am kidding, but I'm also not kidding.
I know. Thank you.
No, I think that was good too.
I know, because I feel like if no one knew what was going on, you'd be like, oh, how have you grown and changed? And you can't really give a short answer with all of that's gone through. And I feel like that was just like, you know, the tip of the iceberg, you know, with like actually living in it and feeling it when you've never felt that or seen that. And
it's very hard to explain.
Yeah.
Because I will say, like, while I was going through it, you were just like, just think differently.
And because I'm a problem solver, it
Yeah.
drives me nuts that he couldn't like move through that. And I was just like, well, why don't we do this? Well, I made you an appointment for this, and I have you this. Take
Yeah.
this and do this.
Or
And
like, just don't think that.
I know.
And like, it's not like, I'm not saying it as like a
I know you are.
bad thing or like angry or mad or anything, but it's one of those things where like I didn't understand depression and anxiety before I went through it, because I would say the same things about people.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, why don't they just change what they're doing, or why don't they just have a different mindset or outlook on life or something? Because it's not possible. Like when you're going through that, it's not possible. So like I feel like depression and anxiety is a thing, one that's extremely hard to explain to people, and on the other side, it's extremely hard to understand what somebody who's going through a phase like that, or struggles with that stuff. It's hard to understand like what they're going through, how to talk to them, how to comfort them in those times, until hopefully you don't experience those things. But it's one of those things where you don't understand until you go through it, because now I feel like you do.
Mhm.
I know I do. I
Yeah.
didn't before. But anyways.
Yeah, and just like things that myself personally that I think that has changed my perspective on, I don't know, just shift my thinking from the ways that I was thinking before, and has really been to fixate on like, I've shared this before on my Instagram. I was talking about how whenever you told me you were going through those days or whatever, that you were not wanting to go to sleep or whatever, and you just explained this to our daughter a few weeks ago, and she was feeling this way too, was to like look forward to something that is going to happen tomorrow. Like silly things as small as like he's like, when I wake up tomorrow, there's going to be coffee made for me or whatever. Like he has it set on the thing that he'll have his coffee ready, and when he comes downstairs, it'll be ready for him. And it was something so small, but something to look forward to. And I have seriously taken that into my day so many times when I'm like just overwhelmed with motherhood and other things in life too. I'm just like, what is something so small that like brings me so like just something that I can look forward to or bring me joy. I call them little blessings. It's now how I look at them. And sometimes it's as simple as like the sky being a beautiful color or whatever. I know I can't really predict that happening, but like I see those things and I just choosing to see them differently and like look at them like, that's a reminder that life is good and God is good, and there's just a lot of good in your life, and just to find those little things, or like silly things too. Like I shared this before, we have a Chipotle drive-through down the street from us, and it's life-changing, and it literally makes me so happy that we have it.
Frugal February.
Yeah, that's true. It made me so happy in January.
Last time I went there, I literally was in line for like an hour. And that's not an exaggeration.
Someone else
sat
too
in the drive-through line.
It was a fundraiser night, so
dude, it's the drive-through. You're not taking orders. They're literally just handing you food out the window.
Grace and mercy for those employees. Thank you, Michael.
Unbelievable.
Anyways, so like that's something that I've looked for, like that I've changed in my life. Growth wise for me, I know, okay, if you've known me for the last few years, you know that Instagram has played a very large portion of my life. And lately, I think like since I went through that, it like shifted for me. Like I was really working for something that like you work for a goal when you do Instagram, to like hit a certain number of followers or whatever. And I dedicated so much of my life in the last like 3 years of that I felt like when I looked up from the screen, everything around me had been changed. My kids grew up. I didn't have any like physical real life friends because I'm serious, because I didn't communicate with them. I was so fixated on this goal of mine to like want to achieve something and like be something that I was putting all my effort into it. And I was like, I just don't have time for real life relationships, which is absolutely absurd when you say it out loud. So in the past year for me, something huge I've done in my life is I've cut out a lot of like Instagram and stuff like that. I don't do much for it. I do projects for me and like do stuff for me, and I'll share it when I can or whatever. But I've like learned to put it away and just like live in the moment, in the present. And I've made an effort to make friends again. And like I try my best to like get together with someone and hang out with people again and just like be here, because like life is a gift, and and see it that way. So it's something huge for me. I know that sounds silly for me to make friends, but it is. Like Mike has been telling me for the last few years too, like, hey,
quit being a loser.
You say it a lot nicer than that. He's always like, yeah, I'm being nice. I'm saying that you are being nice. But he is. He's always like, you should really like hang out with this person, or you should do that. And I'm just like, I don't have time. I have to finish sanding this real quick or doing this. But for what reason, like it's just silly when you look back on it. But it's changed a lot for me.
Okay, so then I'll say what areas I see positive changes in you, and then I'll answer my part.
Okay.
So I would say the biggest positive change that I've seen has happened in the last month, maybe. But it's been what you were just talking about. One, your like willingness to step back out and reach out to people about friendships and hanging out with people and getting to find some friends that you can like talk to about things, because as much as I enjoy talking to you about stuff, there's stuff I can't relate to because I'm not a woman and I'm not a mom, and I haven't gone through things that you've gone through. So I'm really happy that you're like getting back out in the field again.
Play in the field. That's what you're saying.
But that's been awesome. And then like one thing that's been really inspiring to me is your I don't know the right way to say it, but like rededication to like your walk with God. Just like, I don't know, every night you're like, I'm gonna go upstairs and read the Bible, or like do my devotional or whatever, which is really cool. And it's kind of like kicked me into gear, being like, oh, I should probably do that too. And like, bringing the whole plan that we're doing, the 90-day plan, which I never would have done. But yeah, just those things, they rub off on our family, because like even the girls, they're like excited to pray before bed or other times during the day, which has been really cool, because our oldest has been like that for years, but like our middle kid would like cry when they're like, do you want to pray before bed tonight? And she'll like literally start crying, be like, no, I don't want to. But like now she's excited and like talks about Jesus. And like tonight we were eating dinner and she's like, can I just pray by myself right now? And we're like, sure. And it's always hysterical.
Yeah.
But that kind of stuff rubs off. Like when Peyton was going through her stuff, like you had Pastor Mandy come over, who's our kid pastor at church at Red Oaks. She came over and like talked with Peyton, and it was awesome. But like you got the karaoke machine out, and now she listens to the same old worship CD every single night as she falls asleep, which is super cool. And so now she's walking around the house like singing worship songs, which ironically are all songs that I used to play like a decade ago at our old church, and like the one song we played way too many times, and it's kind of like,
if you know, you know.
Yeah, if you know, you know. And it's kind of triggering to me hearing her walk around singing that, but it's
Non-stop,
okay. Yeah. But no, that's been the biggest positive change I've seen. Not that like you didn't love God before, but
No.
it's just like your relationship has gone up to the next level.
Yeah. No, thanks, babe. I appreciate that you noticed that. Because obviously that's a big thing that I'm really am working on. Like I said, when I was going through this last month in December, I guess it'd be over a month now. It was just a really, really, really dark time for me. And I got to the point, like at the end of the month, that I was like, I cannot do this myself anymore. Like, why am I living my life the way I am when, like, I don't know, there's like more to life because like God has done so much for us. And I don't know, it just changed my whole perspective. And I don't know, I feel like that I can feel that for our whole family has just changed drastically.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really happy about it. Okay, now you have to answer the first question.
What ways have I changed and grown? Well, outside of what we already talked about, like my diet, probably the biggest like physical change, which then in turn helped me lose a lot of weight. Actually, I think I've probably gained some of it back since, but like my first couple trips to my physician, I used to weigh in like 225, 226, and my first few trips back to the doctor, I was in like the low 190s. So like I lost 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Which, eating out, fast food, not very gluten friendly. So cut a lot of that out and, stop drinking soda and energy drinks. I am drinking a Mountain Dew right now, but we won't talk about that. But
it's
for
like once a
the
month,
most part,
like.
I've become a social drinker of pop or soda.
Depending on where you're from.
It's soda. But yeah, I'm very limited on my soda intake, and I haven't drank energy drinks in the longest time. So like all those things help me lose like 30 pounds, which was awesome. But in a weird way, after going through what I went through, I feel like I've like woken up, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. I feel like life just started now. And like the way I was going through life before, I don't know, just felt like very grumpy and closed off. But I find myself like appreciating things a lot more now. Not that I didn't appreciate my family before, but like I just love doing dad things with the kids. I feel like obviously going through what I went through, my relationship with God has changed and grown. I've grown closer. My prayer life has improved and grown. I feel like, in weird ways, I feel like I'm slightly more wise.
Yeah, when I was going through it, I feel like you were very wise about how I don't know, just walking through that with me and like giving me advice and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, more understandable. Like things that would annoy me or anger me before, I'm just like, whatever, let's do this. Like, for example, tomorrow we have family pictures.
In my defense, we haven't had we don't have any.
I'm just kidding.
We don't have any family pictures with our newest baby, and she's 7 months old tomorrow. So,
well, but yeah, before I would just probably be angry all day tomorrow because I hate family pictures.
But he's doing it for me for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, but I'm just like, whatever. Let's just make a good time of it.
He's a good guy.
But I don't know. I don't know how to describe all the ways, because I feel like there's a lot of things.
Mm.
But I think those are probably the biggest. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Old Pam says, "You've grown so much. It's good to see." Well, thank you. Appreciate the kind words.
So in areas that I see positive change in you, do you want me to just like stroke your hair or something like that, look into your eyes and tell you sweet nothings?
Well,
That's the
this is a
weirdest-
family podcast, Bekah.
Sweet
Wow.
nothings has always been the weirdest thing to me, people say. Anyways, it kind of goes back further for you, I feel like. Well, maybe since I don't know. I've seen you change drastically in who
By
you
the
are.
way, this is a lighter, just
What'd
in
you-
case anyone.
Oh.
I don't know, because I've just
You're
been
gonna
playing.
You're going to get blocked on Facebook
know.
again.
I know.
This is a lighter Facebook. We
Facebook.
just
This is not a
purchased
gun. This is a lighter.
For said candle.
Yeah, got a new lighter. Sorry, I was playing with it. Anyways.
If you've known Mike in the past, you know that he's not unsociable. He just doesn't like to be sociable or like outgoing for the most part, or he used to be that way. And that's like one of my favorite new qualities about him and I think that like the podcast has brought that out in him a lot. Is that he's very much more like sociable. Like someone at church even said to me this past week, they're like, our daughter had gotten up and said something in front of the church and prayed for everybody. And they're like, she must get that from her dad. He's so social and like outgoing. And I laughed about it because that's not Mike. He used to be a very like I don't know. If you don't really have anything in common with him, he used to be this
I'm
way.
very introverted.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. But not anymore. Like you're good at holding small talk and stuff like that, which you hated before.
I still do.
I've seen you in action.
I still hate it though.
But you do so much better with it. I notice it about you, and you'll find ways to bring up conversation more and stuff like that instead of just being like, meh, I don't want to do this, which goes back to probably how you were just saying that you're just like looking at things differently. Which that's changed. Like, I don't know. I just feel like that's been like something that I've seen that I like enjoy now. Like before I'd be like, I don't want to tell him that we're doing this with friends because he's going to like poo poo it and he's not going to want to do it. He's just going to sit there like this the whole time. But he's not like that.
I will say that I do feel like I've grown a lot as a conversationalist.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't say that. Maybe I didn't feel like it was important enough.
It is a huge thing if you know.
It's 100% because of the podcast.
Yeah. Which is really cool that something like this is like taking it for that far for you, like in your personal life.
Yeah. Which is hilarious because we took personality tests before we planted our church here amongst the team so we could all understand each other better, since we were working with these people for close to 2 years before the church even opened. But yeah, I'm an introvert with like some extrovert qualities, but more so an introvert, which is funny because I am the worship leader at our church. So I'm standing on the stage with a microphone in front of my face
and
almost as long as our pastor in every service, which is weird. For like, I still don't understand why I'm doing this because it is not my personality at all.
But plot twist, our pastor and him are the exact same personality.
Yeah.
So we have a bunch of introverts just running this church.
Yeah, it's
and
super
awesome.
Weird. But like, yeah, if people actually knew how I am, they would probably be like, this is super weird that you're doing that. But on top of that, like, I am the host of now 2 podcasts.
Yeah.
And if you've listened to Showboys at all, like, I don't ever shut up on that stupid show. But it's just, yeah, I don't know. Being on the podcast has helped me be a better conversationalist. I mean, I can talk with my friends about stuff all the time, but we've had many guests on the show who are complete strangers to me that I've had to have a conversation with for, I mean, our episodes are like an hour and a half to 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's just
I just remember
Weird.
like back in the day, like people would talk to you, come up to you, or be like, and say like trying to just talk to you, and you'd be like, "Yep,
they. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, okay.
all right, well, I gotta go."
Yeah. I mean, I still don't really do small talk that great.
He does a lot. Like I've seen you. I don't know why you're saying
But like
this.
they come up and just be like, "So man, this weather's crazy," and I just be like, "Yeah."
And that was it. That's all I hear from Mike. Not anymore. He'd be
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, isn't that nuts? I really like this." But like, I'm just like, look at this little social butterfly on my hands here. But
Anyways,
that was like a big thing that I really
Continue.
noticed.
I want to hear more.
Oh, do you? Okay.
It's like, what is that? It's like
It's my foot.
big toe is just like hanging out there. What the heck?
Okay, and I think this has to do with the fact that because of what you went through and the realization that you've had for life, but like your relationship with our girls is very, very intentional, and like just like the way that, I don't know, even the way you play with them, like they know like that daddy's fun and he's gonna like, and it's funny because we've talked about this before, Mike and I, before he worked from home, our middle daughter, she's stubborn, let's just say that. She looks exactly like him and acts like him, but she's always been a mama's girl, and like they struggle like with, she'd never just want to be held by anyone but me. So that was hard for Mike because our oldest was like a big daddy's girl and stuff. And so like their relationship was very, it wasn't like bad or anything like that, but they just didn't bond, like have that click or whatever, that like she'd always be like, "No, I want mommy instead." Well, with him working from home, it shifted everything. And now like she's like, "Oh, I'm drawing a picture of," like just tonight she was like, "I'm drawing a picture of daddy wearing a wig because I want to see what he looks like with a wig." And like just like she's constantly like, "The daddy monster is coming to get us," and like they'll like plot like all these things and wait, and just like she'll come down here and just, she says she does piano lessons while Mike's here working. She's like, "I need to do my piano lessons with daddy." But like just like that relationship is my favorite. But just like the intentional things that he spends with them, and like he'll take his breaks and like be with them and talk to them, and like,
You hear that, Nick?
him.
You hear that? My lunch breaks.
He does. He's a good guy.
He always makes fun of me because I do play video games on my lunch break.
No, he actually comes upstairs and takes the baby a lot of times for me, so I can finish working on something. He gives me his lunch breaks. No, but that's just how he is. And like same with the baby. Like he's really good with the baby. Like I think he's better than I am with her. Like a lot of times I'll get frustrated and I'll just lose my breaking point, and he'll just be like, "All right, let's go downstairs and work with daddy for a little bit." But I don't know, he's just been like that. This played a huge part, and I think it's just because you realize, I mean, there's like this time is precious, and like the time that we have with them. So I mean, not like that you weren't intentional with them before, but I just see so much more of an effort and like wanting that time with them instead of like just like, "Oh, I need to spend time with my kids," Now you like want to, and the girls crave that from their daddy too, and that time with them. But like that was a really big positive change and really cool to see.
Well, first, Pam says, "You used to be so quiet like Dave." I miss Dave. But yeah, I still am. You guys just see the talkative version because I have to.
I want everybody next time I see him to ask him 20 questions.
As long as they're not just small talk questions. And then Nick says, "Now he does."
Oh, like before the baby?
Yeah.
Oh, I know he did. But the girls were so much more independent before I had her, so I didn't really need his help as much. But now I'm like, I just need you to quit your job and still make money and take care of all the kids for me.
I'm basically, the sole provider for our family, right? I'm the income.
Here we go.
But I'm also the stay-at-home dad.
He's the manny.
I don't know what she does.
I don't either.
Honestly.
I'd paint the living room with not enough paint and realize that we're not doing, or we're doing frugal.
Anyways. But thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. There's just been a lot of good things, I feel like, that have come out of the last year with like all the hard times, but all the like the good that came out of it. And I'm excited to see where it goes, because he briefly said something about our oldest. She was like going through some like weird nightmares or not even nightmares. She wasn't even sleeping.
Well, at first it was a weird nightmare.
Yeah, we're not going to go into that.
Yeah.
But she went through a lot, and I feel like Mike and I don't know, I feel like we handled it really well. Like it's helped our parenting, just what we've gone through, because we could like explain to her like just like the little things that he was explaining to her. It's just like she was like, oh, you're right. Tomorrow's pizza day at school. Like silly things that she could look forward to. Like just the little tidbits of help that I don't know. It's just like helped our family in general with what we've gone through and have changed us and grown from it and all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's been a long, tough year, but I feel like it was all a refining process. Like, I mean, steel and iron has to go through the forge and in the flame before you can shape it into what its what its purpose is, what its final form is, or whatever. I don't know how to finish explaining that analogy, but like, I feel like this year was the flame portion, or just being shaped and molded, and all the excess things that we didn't need, character wise, were just being burnt away. It was painful, but I think we're on the other end now, and it's brought a lot of positive things afterwards. But
I remember what I was saying now.
Nick says, whoa, big analogy. Sometimes they come out, not very often, but every once in a while.
Here and there.
Yeah.
Between all the dad jokes. You have to sort through them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like I said, it's just been a long, and it's weird because, like I said, I feel like we've never experienced hardship in our marriage. Like, I mean, obviously the first year of marriage was hard because I was a little brat and all. I was just telling someone that the other day.
Yeah. I feel like in terms of personal struggles, like, of course, I mean, we've been married for 10 years, so we've gone through a lot of marriage things that happen in most marriages, right? But like, neither of us have personally dealt with a struggle like we did. But on top of that, we haven't dealt with our partner struggling like either of us did. So I feel like it would have been great if just one of us went through this, but I don't think it would have let the other person fully understand what's going on, because like I said before, it's the type of thing you don't understand until you experience it. So I think, as sucky as it was, both of us going through it was a net positive, because then we could relate and know how to like comfort each other.
Yeah, and I don't know. I know it sounds kind of silly to say this, but I feel like, I mean, it definitely brought us closer because we had to lean on each other a lot for different things. And, like, there were just so many things that, like, normally I just, like, roll my eyes at him. He was trying to give me advice. You should see me when I'm giving birth, and this man over here, I'm just like, you just
literally saying the same things the midwives and doctors have said every time she's giving birth.
Yeah, but when he says it, it's just gonna strangle him. I want him out of there.
By the way, I could probably be a midwife.
Here we go.
I was basically
never said anything.
I was basically a midwife during the newborn's birth. Just saying. I could go work.
He literally said that to them too, because his job was to put towels on my head to help me cool off.
Hey,
and he was like, it, though. He was like, hey, if you guys are hiring, I mean, I could work for you. Again, who's the social guy? Mike before would have never said that. But anyways, I was saying, no, I think it, like, because of that, it like brought us to a deeper I don't know, connection, I guess you could say, of like understanding. And it like brought a newfound like love for him in a way, because like, I don't know, like it was just so scary and stuff like that. And my heart was breaking because his was like so scared and so, I don't know, like unknown. And it was just like seeing him now through it and like happy again and himself again is just like, that is one thing that honestly brings me joy every day, that he's back and he's better than he was. So I don't know. It was just like a total God thing, and you just wouldn't, I don't know. It was, God's cool. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
So.
I agree. I was going to say that this process has brought us closer together, but you did a better job explaining it. So good job. Pam says, tell each other every day you love each other. Going through a bad divorce here and it's hard. Take care of each other. So glad you are both happy. You have a great wife. Yes,
Aww.
Bekah is quite awesome.
Thanks, Pam.
And I truly feel sorry for the situation you're going through. Yeah, when I first saw the things, transpire on your social media, it made me really sad, because I spent a lot of time, obviously, with you guys at your house. And yeah, it's just crazy to think about. And after being married now, like, I can't imagine the pain that something like that would cause. So yeah, I feel really bad, and I hope you're doing okay and coming out on the other side a little bit stronger. But yeah, last week we told you guys that we were gonna do a more serious episode, so hopefully you enjoyed the hour and 7 minutes of us telling you our life story over the last year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's just the real life. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? To be real, raw. I was gonna say real, raw, and ugly. That makes no sense.
I think what we say in our description is open and honest conversations. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like talking about this stuff, and I like to be an open book. So one thing that I found with doing Showboys is podcasting can be very therapeutic. And I mean, on that podcast, I'm just talking about shows and video games and movies and stuff. It's not nearly as serious as this tonight was or anything, but yeah, it felt good to be able to talk this out with whoever's listening. I don't know. I mean, we've talked this out, but like, I don't think we've talked about it this much. I feel like I've come away from this conversation with some new realizations, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, I enjoy talking about these things, and actually, which is really weird because I hate talking about feelings or being vulnerable or anything mushy.
Yeah.
I'm the worst girl ever.
But also, that's the funny thing, is the whole point of us doing this podcast, at least what I was hoping, was to be able to have conversations like this, because this isn't something that we would just sit on the couch and talk about.
Yeah, that's true.
And so like my goal of doing the podcast, as much as, I want to put out conversations for anyone listening, maybe to like relate to, or by chance learn from, not that we know what we're doing at all, because we don't, but more it was to have these intentional conversations together, because we probably wouldn't otherwise.
Yeah, that's true. And like, also, because I don't talk about it, it's just how I grew up. I feel like hopefully that it'll, transpire into other people that it's okay to talk about things in hard times, and basically what you said. But yeah, that's that.
Yep.
It's almost bedtime already.
Well, it's past your bedtime for sure. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks to everyone who commented in. Appreciate that. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Couple Conversations Podcast. Sorry, I have a burp.
He does this. It's not the hiccups, though.
Nope, just burp. You can follow Showboys Podcast on Facebook and Twitter. We live stream our episodes there. I've been really slacking on uploading the audio versions, which if you're listening to this right now, you don't listen to the audio versions. But I plan on this weekend mixing them and throwing them on our platforms there. You can follow a couple conversations on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Couple Conversations podcast, yeah.
With an S.
And then you can find our 3 links, I think, at linktr.ee/couple conversations podcast. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Have a wonderful night.
So